Welcome to Sleepy Tales. My name is Mateus, and before we begin today's story, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to our channel and leave a comment below saying, "I'll sleep well tonight." Now, sit back, relax, and let's dive into tonight's tale. It was the dead of winter when the Smith family decided to move into their new home. They were tired of the hustle and bustle of the city and longed for a peaceful life in the countryside. After months of searching, they found the perfect home, a beautiful, isolated house nestled in the heart of the forest. As they approached the house for the first time, they felt a sense of peace and tranquility wash over them. The snow was falling gently, blanketing the trees and the ground in a soft, white blanket. The house looked like a picture postcard, with its wooden exterior and quaint little windows. The Smiths were excited to start their new life in this beautiful house, but they didn't realize that they were not alone. There was something in the house with them, something sinister and malevolent. At first, the disturbances were minor. Objects would move inexplicably, and strange noises would come from empty rooms. The family tried to ignore the odd occurrences, but they couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. As the days passed, the disturbances grew more frequent and more intense. The family became more and more anxious, and they started to turn on each other. They argued constantly, accusing each other of moving things or making strange noises. One night, things came to a head. The family was sitting in the living room, trying to watch a movie, but they couldn't focus on the screen. The tension in the room was thick, and everyone was on edge. Suddenly, a loud crash came from the kitchen. The family jumped up, startled, and ran to investigate. When they got to the kitchen, they found that all the cabinets and drawers had been opened, and all the dishes and utensils were strewn across the floor. The family was terrified. They didn't know what to do or who to turn to. They tried to leave the house, but the doors and windows were all locked from the inside. They were trapped. Days turned into weeks, and the family was on the brink of madness. They could barely sleep, and when they did, they were plagued by nightmares. They were hungry, but they couldn't bring themselves to eat the food in the house. It was like the house was alive, feeding on their fear and anxiety. Finally, one day, the family made a shocking discovery. They found an old, faded map hidden in a drawer in the attic. The map showed that the house had been built on an ancient Native American burial ground. The family realized that the spirits of the dead were haunting the house, and they were the ones responsible for the strange occurrences. They decided that they needed to find a way to appease the spirits and leave the house before it was too late. But as they were searching for a way out, they made a horrifying discovery. One of the family members had been dead all along. They had died before they even moved into the house, and their spirit had been haunting the family the entire time. The family was shocked and horrified. They had been fighting and accusing each other all this time, not realizing that the real threat was already among them. The dead family member had been manipulating them, feeding on their fear and anxiety, and driving them to the brink of madness. The family knew that they had to leave the house immediately, but it was too late. The dead family member had one last trick up their sleeve. As the family was packing their bags, they heard a strange noise coming from the attic. When they went to investigate, they found that the door to the attic had been locked from the inside. As the family was trapped in the attic, they realized that there was no way out. The dead family member had one final plan to keep them in the house forever. The family tried everything to escape, but every time they tried to open the door, it seemed to grow further away. The family was running out of options, and as they grew more desperate, they started to turn on each other once again. It was as if the dead family member had never left, and their influence was still present, feeding on the family's fear and paranoia. Just when they thought that all hope was lost, the youngest member of the family, a small child, suggested something that no one had thought of before. They suggested that they all hold hands and close their eyes and try to imagine the door opening. The family was hesitant at first, but they had nothing left to lose. They all held hands, closed their eyes, and focused on the door. To their surprise, the door slowly creaked open, revealing a stairway leading down to the basement. As the family cautiously descended the stairs, they realized that they had stumbled upon a hidden room. In the center of the room was an old wooden box, and as they approached it, they realized that it was filled with ancient artifacts and trinkets. Among the artifacts was an old amulet, which seemed to radiate a strange energy. The family knew that this was the key to their escape, and they quickly put it on. As they did, they felt a rush of energy coursing through their bodies. The amulet seemed to be protecting them from the evil forces that had been haunting the house. With the amulet in their possession, the family was finally able to escape the house. As they drove away, they could feel the weight of the house's history and the spirits that still resided there. The family was forever changed by their experience in the house. They had survived something truly terrifying, and they knew that they would never be the same again. But they also knew that they had each other, and with the amulet in their possession, they were ready to face whatever came their way. As they drove away into the night, the family couldn't help but wonder what other secrets lay hidden in the darkness, waiting to be uncovered. But for now, they were just happy to be alive and to have each other. They knew that no matter what came next, they would face it together, armed with the knowledge that they had survived the horrors of the house in the forest. Thank you for listening to this bedtime story, and remember, if you struggle with falling or staying asleep at night, click on the first link in the description for the ultimate solution to your problem. Now, choose one of these two videos and continue on our journey in the world of bedtime stories.